Hi everyone, this is Professor Oaks and this video is about square roots and the Pythagorean theorem. Alright, so to calculate square roots, it's it's exactly the reverse of finding the square of a number. So 1 squared is 1, so the square root of 1 is 1. 2 squared is 4, square root of 4 is 2. 3 squared is 9, square root of 9 is 3. 4 squared is 16, and square root of 16 is 4. And there we go. There is my first answer right there. Alright, so here are some other common square roots you might want to know. 5 squared is 25, so square root of 25 is 5. 6 squared is 36, so square root of 36 is 6. 7 squared is 49, so square root of 49 is 7. 8 squared is 64, so square root of 64 is 8. And 9 squared is 81, so square root of 81 is 9. And there is my answer to the second problem here. Square root of 81 is 9. Alright, so what are some other ones that you may really want to know about? Well, like I would say generally you might want to know maybe up to 10 squared is 100, square root of 100 is 10. Right, 11 squared is 121, square root of 121 is 11, and maybe 12, maybe 13, but I feel like after that, a lot of people would just use a calculator, all right? So try to remember some of these if you can. If not, that's okay too. So now use the right triangle below to determine which formula is the Pythagorean formula or the Pythagorean theorem. All right. So in the Pythagorean formula or the Pythagorean theorem here, usually what the theorem says is that the length of the sum of the squares of two legs of the triangle is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. So it's leg squared plus leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And then instead of writing leg and hypotenuse, then they just write a squared plus b squared is c squared. All right. So if you're trying to find out what the length of a missing leg is, its leg length is the square root of hypotenuse squared minus leg squared. And if you want to know what the hypotenuse is, then it is the square root of leg squared plus leg squared. All right, so just try to remember this, but a lot of times you'll just see that it is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So c is the hypotenuse in this case because it is the side that is directly across from the right angle or the 90-degree angle. So that means that this is a leg and that is a leg, and that this is the correct choice for this problem here. All right, let's try another one. Find the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is what they want us to find. So I'm going to use this formula here. So the hypotenuse is equal to the square root of leg squared plus leg squared. So if the lengths of the legs are 6 and 8, so the square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared, and then 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64, then 36 plus 64 is 100, and square root of 100 is 10, so it is 10. Right, if you want to know what this triangle looked like, it is a right triangle. So one of the lengths was 6 and the other one was 8, and this was the hypotenuse. And so then we just said that that was 10. And the hypotenuse always has to be the longest side of the triangle. So if it wasn't bigger than 8, I knew that I was automatically wrong. All right, so let's try another one. it said find the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So here it is again. So here is the hypotenuse is what they want us to find. And the legs are 12 centimeters and 16 centimeters. So we know that the answer has to be bigger than 16 centimeters, all right? So hypotenuse is what they want us to find. So it's a square root of leg squared plus leg squared. So 12 squared plus 16 squared under the square root. So 12 squared is 144, and 16 squared, well, that is going to be 256. And then if I add those together, that's 400. And if you didn't know this, that's okay, but 400 is actually 20 times 20. So this is actually 20 to the second power, which is 20. If you need it to use a calculator for that, that's fine as well. All right, so 20 centimeters is the answer here. All right, so let's try another one here. Find the unknown leg of a right triangle with hypotenuse of 13 meters and leg of 6 meters. So here is the triangle. So the hypotenuse is going to be the longest side here. So this should be, they said 13 meters. So I'm going to use m for meters. And one of the legs is equal to 6 meters. And this leg's length is missing. So remember I said leg is the square root of hypotenuse squared minus leg squared. So hypotenuse was 13, so 13 squared minus the other leg, 6 squared. All right, so then we have 13 squared is 169. 6 squared is 36, and then we have 169 minus 36. That will be 133. So then the square root of 133 is about, well, that will be about 11.53256259. But you can see that they only want to the nearest hundredth here, so that would be 11.53 meters. All right, 11.53 meters. What a time to be alive. All right, let's try another one here. Find the unknown leg of a right triangle with a length of 41 and a leg length of 40. So right triangle, hypotenuse 41, leg 40. So remember I said leg is square root of hypotenuse squared minus leg squared. So you can draw the diagram if you want. Here is hypotenuse, and it is a 41, and one of the legs was 40, and we want this missing leg length right here. All right, so square root of hypotenuse squared, so that's 41 squared minus leg squared, 40 squared. So 41 squared is going to be, that will be 1681, and 40 squared is going to be 1600. If I subtract those, it's 81 under the square root, and the square root of 81 is 9. So there's my answer right there. What a time to be alive. All right, we just have a couple more here left. So find the unknown leg of a right triangle again with a hypotenuse of 26 yards. So I'm going to abbreviate yards YD, and a leg of 24 yards. So yards YD. So here is my right triangle. Here is my hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is 26 yards. One of the legs is 24 yards, and the other leg length is missing. All right, so I said that the unknown leg length would be square root of hypotenuse squared minus leg squared. So this will be 26 squared minus 24 squared under the square root. So 26 squared, that will be 676. And 24 squared, that will be 576. So if you subtract those, it's 100 under the square root, and the square root of 100 is 10. So 10 yards, or 10 yards written out like this. So there is the answer right there. What a time to be alive. All right, so a triangle with side lengths equal to 3, 4, and 5 is a right triangle. Well, right triangles have to satisfy the property a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or leg squared plus leg squared is equal to hypotenuse squared. So hypotenuse is always the longest one. So I know that the hypotenuse would need to be 5 if this were indeed a right triangle. And then I substitute in the 3 and the 4 and see if this is a true equation or not. So does 3 squared plus 4 squared equal 5 squared? If it does, then this is true. If it doesn't, then this is false. So 9 plus 16, does that equal 25? 25 equals 25, yes. So this is true that it is a right triangle. True. All right, let's try again. So we have a triangle with sides equal to 5, 11, and 12 is a right triangle. So does 5 squared plus 11 squared equal 12 squared? Well, 25 plus 121, does that equal 144? No, because this is 146, and that does not equal 144. So this is false. So that means that this cannot be a right triangle. So, unfortunately, that is all of the information that I have for you in this video here on square roots and the Pythagorean Theorem. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and this unfortunately will be the last one of the videos on this type of topic for a while. So I really hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you and have a great day.